Hello and welcome to the Project Falcon Punch Top 5 guest list. I'm your host Dan, and today the special guest we have is Ben Bertoli.
Hey there, how's it going?
I'm going well. How are you going?
I'm doing all right, just hanging in there.
Yeah, so how was your year? Summarize in, I guess, as brief as you possibly can.
Not as bad as some people, but still difficult in spots.
Mm-hmm. Did you have plenty of times to play games then?
Yeah, I did. I had a lot of time to play games.
Nice.
Which was both like a blessing and a curse. I got through things a lot faster than I anticipated, and then it was kind of like, what do I play now? So
yeah, that like sort of completionist mentality of I want to finish this, and then when you do, you're like, oh, I guess that's done now.
Right, yeah.
So for people who aren't aware, I'm sure people who are watching this probably are, but just in case they don't, who are you or where will people know you from, I guess?
I'm a very tall man. I am the co-host of Memory Card and the co-creator, which is a gaming history podcast. I've done a lot of freelance work in the past for sites IGN, Kotaku, Polygon, and I'm also a 6th grade teacher. So yeah, I just do a little bit of everything, but that's definitely my claim to fame.
People should go listen to Memory Card. I've already plugged that on with Push Dustin, who've done his top 5 already.
Right.
But yeah, thoroughly recommend people to go check that podcast out.
Yeah, please do. We love having new listeners, and we got a lot of really fun topics coming up in our 5th season here, which will be starting up in March.
Ooh, looking forward to that, yeah. So, Ben, what is your 5th favorite game of 2020?
5th favorite game would have to be Grindstone for the Nintendo Switch.
I've played this on the mobile, but I've not played it on the
Right.
Switch, but I imagine it's the same game.
Yeah, I've heard it's a little better, just because of kind of like the layout and buttons are nice. That's kind of why I stay away from mobile gaming in general. Technically, it's not a game that premiered officially in 2020, but it's the first time I got my hands on it and the first time it came to something outside of the Apple Arcade or wherever it originated.
The animations are like my favorite part about that game. Like when you just like slicing through all these like enemies and just going chopping through, it's like really cathartic sort of feeling.
Yeah, it's very cool. It has like Cartoon Network vibes almost, you know, got the big bulgy muscles and the very like simple design of all the enemies. It's very fun. It's extremely satisfying, I guess, is the best part about it.
It gets hard not pretty quick, but it gets relatively hard the further you get in, anyway, I think.
Yeah. But there's those moments when you think, oh no, I'm trapped and I'll never be free from this corner. And then you like, oh, wait a minute. Here's an amazing like link of monsters that I can follow out and combos. And so that's half the fun, is just kind of like toying with what you could potentially do. And the strategy involved, I guess, is what I really enjoy.
That's cool. So what have you got as your number 4?
Number 4 is Pikmin 3.
Okay.
Deluxe. Don't forget that part. Yeah. Also for the Switch, I'm a huge fan of the Pikmin series. I have all the past Pikmin games, for better or for worse, even the Wii ones with the new, play control. So I was very excited to see Pikmin 3 getting some love and getting a remaster. I was kind of hoping we'd get all 3 games, but I'll take what I can get at this point.
It would be cool to see the first 2, like, not necessarily just remade, but at least ported in some way to the Switch.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I mean, even if they threw them up on the eShop for, $20 a pop, I'd probably jump in and grab them both for sure. Pikmin 3 was already kind of a beautiful game on the Wii U, and I think the Switch just kind of, pumped everything up a little bit, tweaked some of the controls. I love going out of my way to try and find all the fruit in that game, and then quite a bit of the multiplayer stuff and the little bonus challenges that they added on were just really fun.
Yeah, the fruit was pretty good looking back in 2013, and I imagine it's still pretty good now.
Yeah, and I forgot all the funny names that they had for it, so I get to laugh about it all over again.
Did they add much to this deluxe version?
There was some DLC stuff. Most of it's like side mission stuff. There is a nice little bit at the end. I believe you have to complete the normal campaign where you get to play as Olimar and Louie and do kind of like, I don't want to give any too many spoilers for this game that's been out for years and years, but basically you find them later on in the game and they've crashed once again. And so it's kind of like how they got to that spot. So I mean, it's great. It's similar worlds, but it's like, all new objectives.
Yeah.
I really found it fun.
Pretty bad pilots in the Pikmin universe, basically.
Yeah. And it just seems to be those two that don't quite understand how it works. Or they're just unlucky. They keep getting hit with things in outer space, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe, hopefully one day we get Pikmin 4, whenever the hell that actually comes.
Yeah. Hope in the next few years.
Yeah.
Pikmin 4 or Metroid Prime 4? I don't know which one we're going to get first.
Oh, God, that's a good question. So yeah, number 3, what have you got?
Number 3, I have Hades for the Nintendo Switch. I've just been playing everything on the Switch, yeah. That's definitely one that kind of fell into the category of like, I don't usually like this genre of games. Not that I hate it, just that I don't usually get too into it. But man, that game pulled me in pretty hard.
I hear that a lot about this game with a lot of people. They're like, roguelikes not really my thing.
Yeah.
And they play Hades and like, okay, this is completely grabbed me.
Yeah. I was a little worried that the like repetitiveness of it was gonna like eventually wear me down, but I don't know. I just kept going and, upgrading my abilities and getting further and further. And I made it to the end, and man, I probably went like 25 hours before I actually beat the very last boss for the first time. Not 25 hours since the first time I encountered him, but like 25 hours in total.
Right, yeah, no, I get you. Like the difference with this game is because there's always a progression. It always feels like you're building to something, and the story as well. Like there's always new dialogue, like for any time that you die, which you don't get in other roguelikes.
And I feel like there's still things that I have yet to discover. I haven't gotten all of the little like curios and things that people give you to help you along the way. So it's still something that I come back to every couple of weeks and just kind of play a few rounds and see how far I can make it, unlock a few more things. So I think it was the surprise of the year for me as far as games that I didn't see, that weren't on my radar initially.
No, fair enough. So what is your second favorite game of the year?
Number 2 would be A Short Hike.
Oh, I love this game.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's super duper chill. I mean, the music is outstanding. The graphics is almost like you're playing a DS game. It's kind of what I feel like, the polygonal. But man, the little world that they've crafted in that game is just outstanding. I mean, it's beautiful, and just the very simple gameplay mechanics of like jumping and flying and gliding, finding feathers, and I mean, you could probably beat it, by which I mean get to the top of the mountain in an hour and a half, probably faster if you knew what you're doing. But there's just a lot to explore. I know the Switch version added in a boat, which is fun to just kind of like tear around in the water for no reason.
Yeah, there's like a time trial thing, right, in that as well. It reminds me like a sort of almost smaller, condensed Breath of the Wild in a weird way.
Yeah, definitely. There's no combat, but the interactions and there's
the gliding about stuff and that, very, very similar.
Yeah, I like that there's NPCs that you can talk to, and then they'll move and you have to go find them, and then that kind of thing where it's like a progression of interactions.
Yeah, that's cool. So what is then your favorite game of 2020?
My favorite game is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2, which I played on the PlayStation 4.
Nice. These are, I guess, two games, one game together, like fantastic remasters, remakes of two classic games.
I mean, I feel like I've played a lot of remasters lately. Played the Crash Bandicoot, I played the Spyro games. A lot of the classics are going that route, but man, this one just really nailed it. I feel like they improved upon the whole formula, or they added in some of those tricks and like maneuvers that you couldn't do in the original games, but that eventually became staples. So it just felt super satisfying. I felt like I was back to being 12 years old, or however old I was when they originally came out. And I think I played them both on the Nintendo 64, so the controls were drastically improved.
Oh yeah, and frame rate.
Yeah, the soundtrack is just like wonderful in kind of like a punk, hyped up sort of way. It was a perfect mix of like nostalgia and quality gameplay and music and everything else. So put a lot of time into that. I think I 100%ed Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 in that game for the first time ever. Probably because when I was a kid, we didn't have a memory card for the N64, and that was one of the few games that took a memory card. So
yes, I remember that. Yep.
Start from the beginning every single time, and I don't even know if I ever saw that last skate park. So
I was like that with Tony Hawk's too. The same thing. I played that first the air hangar one so many times over and over again because I didn't have memory cards.
Yeah, and honestly, like I feel like 2 was the one that I really skipped as a kid. I think I played it at some friends' houses, but it was always 1, and then I had 3 and 4 for the GameCube. So when playing 2, the majority of that was all new to me, and I was excited about finding new tapes and pulling off new moves and transitions and all that stuff. So
yeah, hopefully we get a remake for 3 and 4 sometime soon.
I would love that, either as DLC for the 1+2 game or just as a standalone. I'm there with the $60 or 40. I guess I think it was cheaper when it came out. So
yeah, I don't know where you sit on this, but for me, 3 was the peak for the series. Like 3 is my favorite, and I'd love to replay that, a remaster of that.
Yeah, it was really good. Plus, you could be Darth Maul from Star Wars. So
I'm not holding my breath that he's going to be in the remake though.
They'll get somebody. Maybe the Mandalorian. Get him in there.
Try and update it, get a new Star Wars character. Anyway, Ben, thank you so much for coming on and telling us your top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
Where can people find you around the internet, on Twitter, YouTube, etc.?
Yeah, on Twitter, you can find me. It's at Super Bentendo, just like Nintendo, but with a BEN instead of an NIN. And then if you want to follow Memory Card, we are at MemCardShow, MEM Card Show. And that is definitely the best place to reach me.
Yeah, cool. Links are in the description. People, like I say, go check out Memory Card and Ben on Twitter, because there's a lot of history stuff that you post on there as well on Memory Card, not just your podcast stuff. So yeah, thank you again, Ben, for joining us, and until next time, take care.
Have a good one.